Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, depending from where you're watching us from. These are our faces. This is Oscar and Alberto, your hosts for tonight's semi-final 2. Looking at the chat, go Julie Fra, come on, the Pigeon, go Von Pigeon. I see a lot of support for the Pigeon and Julie Fra in the chat. Alberto, how are you doing? What can we expect tonight?
It's really interesting. We have the semi-final 2. 13 players tonight for 3 spots in the grand final. Really strong setter. We have a world champion. We have a vice world champion. We have a 3 times finalist. So the thing is pretty interesting today.
Indeed, it's going to be some tight racing, and we're starting it off with the Nakra 17, a foiling catamaran Olympic boats.
Yep.
To kick off the evening. Hello, Alberto and Oscar. Hello, Nozet. Hope you're doing well. Clem BFC, go Julie Fra, and Nozet supporting Carlos and Nunez. As I heard, a lot of penalties for some false starts over there. That's half the fleet being on a false start. That's going to allow the other half to take a bit of a lead. SRB taking the lead on the right-hand side of the course, while we do see Dirksen and Carlos on the left.
We have Carlos Edison on the left, we have Krug and SRB on the right. The wind is really tricky. 3 players here go for an all-in together with Lazar Kozic and Jorge Krug. We have Paul Nunez. And the name of the players that SRB is Lazar Kozic, Krug is Jorge Krug, and Paul Nunez is Paul Nunez. So, but as you can see, after the first wind shift, it didn't pay off, and we have Dirksen in the lead. That is the wild card from the Swedish M&A.
Yep, they're approaching the right lane line as we see the wind shifting as Dirksen tacks right next to the Griller from Turkey. And the cross with FSC Kazuki in front of them. Sienas Carlos Parejo as well. Julie Fra coming in on the other side, the Griller tacking in front of them. It's going to be Julie Fra, Von Pigeon, Lorenzo in 13th, slow start for the Italian boat. As we approach mark number 1, looks like Carlos is in a good spot, luffing up and find a time to stay above that lane line and not having to tack again to round that mark. And I believe Carlos will be the one taking the lead for this first downwind, followed by Dirksen from Sweden. Kazuki taking a penalty for ramming into Dirksen. That's going to allow the Guler to overtake and take 3rd spot from Kazuki. Julie Fra right behind them, followed by Pepino and Von Pigeon. We hear another penalty, behind for Lorenzo, dropping down to 11th.
Yeah, not a great start for the Italian here. That is struggling after the OCS start. At the moment, the Spanish in the lead is doing a great job by keeping himself clear from everybody else. Dirksen was a surprise, but I believe it's still the first race. We have some point that will be assigned, but the good thing is you need to be in top 6, and after that, we reset almost everything. So there's just
going to be 6 races with all 13 players, and the top 6 after the 6 races will qualify to the medal series. 1 race with the top 6, and 1 race with the top 4 will then determine the top 3 getting into the grand final. As we see here, Pepino rounding the first gates. Carlos in the lead, followed by Kazuki, Dirksen, and the Guler.
Kazuki in 4th is a surprise, but the real surprise at the moment is Lorenzo in last.
know
What do you
Lorenzo
think?
from several grand finals. Well, he needs time to warm up, get situated. I'm sure he's going to bounce back fairly quickly in the final. But it is going to be one of the all semifinals are actually going to be tough. All final has some big names, but we recognize Carlos, Kazuki, Lorenzo, even Rock.
Yeah. Finalist in 2020, I believe, or 2021.
As Dirksen takes a penalty from Kazuki.
Almost everything straightforward here, nothing much tactic. Wind is pretty leveling up right now. And it will be interesting to understand what the position will do, because with this left wing shift, it seems FIV Rock have a little bit more clearance to cross in front of Peppino and Giulifra. And Dirkison going all the way to the right, where the rest of the fleet went to the left. As I can show you, this one was really predictable, and he lost his top position. And the moment the Gular is second.
He was fourth when taking the penalty to Kazuki. Carlos, the Guler, and Kazuki are remaining more or less in their positions. I think the Guler was a third or fourth moment to manage to overtake Kazuki. Carlos starting the last downwind of this race, followed by Kazuki. And I see Marcio Magala Silva in the chat. Hello from Portugal. Hope you're doing well. Paralympic sailor, I think, maybe.
At the moment, I will say that Carlos is pretty straightforward is going to win the first race. De Guder is also in a comfortable position in second. Really well done to Omar. He's performing amazingly. Third position also fixed for FSC Kazuki, that are 60 meters behind the Gular, 80 meters in front. A little bit behind, though. There is
the first three managed to pull away from the rest.
Yeah, but there is a nice battle now for the fifth position, with Giulifra attacking Peppino.
As Carlos crosses the finish line in first, soon to follow is going to be the Guler 9 seconds behind him. Krug in third, followed by FIV Rock, Peppino, Giulifra, Krug. Let's switch to Lorenzo now in 12th or 13th. We'll see how the scoring system places him. But at the end of race number 1, Carlos first, Guler second, Kazuki third, FIV Rock fourth, Peppino fifth, Giulifra 6, 7 for Krug, 8 for Dirksen, 9 for Von Pigeon, 10 for Paul Nunes, 11 for SRB, 12 for Vegas, and 13 for Lorenzo. As the next race will start at 12 past. Quickly have a look at the finishing time. So a considerable lead for Carlos, 8 seconds, almost 9 seconds in front of the second place. Then just 3 seconds between the Guler and Kazuki. FIV Rock with a bit of a lead as well for the fifth, and then 6 and 7 were very close, less than a second apart.
It was a really tough race. The wind was pretty stable. You can see exactly when bad choices were done, like Dirkison on leg 4. But except that, everything was decided mostly after the starting of the race or sooner after that.
Exactly, and I am going to update.
And right now we're moving to Ilka, I believe, right?
We are moving to the Ilka. Indeed, Ilka is going to be the second race. So Carlos taking the lead early on in the competition, followed by the Guler, Kazuki, Rocco, Pepino, and Judy Fra for our current top six. Ilka is the next race going to be very different than the Nakra 17. Obviously, Ilka does not foil. Very slow in the upwind and can go quite fast in the downwind as well. Much more agile in the downwind. So you're going to have to be careful with your maneuvers for this one, especially close to the marks. And a more efficient wind shadow, so you can play with the wind shadow a bit more in the Ilka than you could with the Nakra 17.
Mm-hmm.
And for the start, I guess we're going to follow Carlos.
Yeah, absolutely. This one will be the great choice. He is the world champion, no, not in charge, but the former world champion. So he will be like going to school watching his starts.
Exactly, we have 40 seconds to go.
Do you think is everything we have? I think we have a couple of competitors that did perform really under their expectation, like Lorenzo, SRB, and Vegas.
Are you trying to reverse jinx them?
Sorry?
Are you trying to reverse jinx them?
Yeah, exactly. I think they cannot do worse than that.
2 seconds
and
to
this
go.
is even a worse jinx now.
Quickly looking at the chat, Marcio, I see you on YouTube as well. Hello again. Vari, hello to you too. Hope you're doing well. Jer7 greets from Hamburg. Hope all of you watching are doing well. For the second race is about to start. In the Ilka, we're going to be following Carlos and switch to the water.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to mention where we are today. This morning we were in Sydney. Today we are in Singapore, I believe, right?
Let me have a look, and that is indeed Singapore.
Yeah, later on we can try to take better shots of the downtown area with the boat sailing.
It's going to be an epic showdown to Swedish eSailing. Harding behind the controls of that account. 20 seconds to go. In the black boat is, or the gray boat is Carlos, the Spaniard.
7 seconds to the start. FIV Rock, the one closest to the starting line.
And a good start for Carlos. Good start for Kazuki on the pin end with Nunez. And we see some penalties on the right side over there for FIV Rock, for example. It's going to be
great start from Lorraine.
On the right. The penalty for Julie Fra. Going to be having a 10-second slowdown. Tack for Lorenzo is going to force the rest of the fleet to either pass behind him or tack.
I believe he is leading this second race and is a nice comeback from we can say a horrible first race. Nice cross over Krug here for Lorenzo.
That's also support for Griffin and Tatch from the chat. Sorry, from Swedish eSailing, obviously supporting the Swedish sailor in this fleet. Only 50 meters behind the first place so far. That can increase or reduce with the wind, with the downwind in the Ilka.
Yeah. Looking from the top with this current wind, I would say Kazuki and Carlos have a slight advantage over Lorenzo. If the wind, though, is rotating slightly to the right, Lorenzo will definitely be in front of the rest of the fleet. The right wind shift is coming. Let's see if it's coming at a good timing for Lorenzo.
Lorenzo was first at the start. Now in fourth, he's above the ley line, can shoot for the mark in a straight line unless a big shift arrives, but that's unlikely.
Ooh. Interesting
Carlos,
choice from Carlos.
yeah, Carlos has the first spot. He can go for the mark in one go, but there's going to be an overlap between Carlos and Lorenzo as they enter the mark zone. With Carlos having the inside, Lorenzo is going to have to keep clear. As Lorenzo ends up edging in front of Carlos and starts the downwind in first position. Carlos right behind him, Kazuki behind them as well. We see the Guler in the penalty right at the end of the fleet, 13th, but FIV Rock as well with a penalty. That's a 31 that was touching the mark. Unfortunate penalty for him is going to cost him a couple of places.
It's a tough race, as you can see, even from behind. Everybody's covering everybody else. There is a lot of small battles, but everything will happen nearby the mark.
As we're getting close to the gates over there, Carlos, Lorenzo still in their duel. Carlos going faster than Lorenzo, putting him in the wind shadow. But he's himself being slowed down by FSC Kazuki behind, and that might allow Krug to get into that top three.
Ooh,
As Carlos
yes.
touches the mark.
That's a super jinx, Oscar.
Talking about the wind shadow in the battle, not about an unfortunate penalty for touching the mark. But that drops
Especially
Carlos
with
down to fourth.
Even fifth, maybe.
Fifth, yeah.
Because a massive right wing shift is coming, and SRB is in a great position at the moment. Kazuki, if you see, he is bearing away 2 degrees from the best VMG to go faster to the right wing shift. That's a really smart move.
SRB deciding to attack now. Kazuki is going to continue towards the ley line. Krug decides to attack over SRB, forcing SRB to do another attack to get away from that wind shadow.
This is a major help for the Spanish that is keeping the 4th position in this case. And then there is a huge battle, I believe, between FIV Rock, Paul Nunez, Von Pigeon, and Dirkinson, that are all really close. Even Vegas, they are all really close together. Seems another massive right-wing shift is coming soon. Let's see if SRB is going to gain a little bit from this.
SRB is currently the top most boats in 5th.
Now there's a nice cross between him and Carlos, with Carlos ducking behind SRB. Now Carlos is ahead of him, but he cannot duck or he would take a penalty. In the meantime, Lorenzo in lead.
Lorenzo in the lead is starting, to dig this gap between him and the following boats. Krug and Kazuki are likely going to have maybe a bit of a fight. I don't believe they're going to catch Lorenzo in the wind shadow. Let's look at Krug's boats. Lorenzo is clear ahead. Kazuki decides to take for the straighter path, while SRB is right next to Carlos. Behind them, FIV Rock, being chased by Paul Nunez in Spain, Von Pigeon right next to him.
A very interesting battle between Krug and Kazuki for the 2nd position, because Kazuki is being slightly slowed down from SRB, but is now outside the covering area. And everything will be decided at the mark.
Lorenzo
hit the mark.
should have enough of a lead to keep his first position. Just now recovering from the penalty. And Krug is going to keep his second place in front of Kazuki in third, SRB in fourth, right in front of Carlos, FIV Rock in sixth. Then followed by Von Pigeon and Paul Nunez. Behind them, Julie Fra with Pepino. Dirksen taking a penalty at the mark is going to allow the Guler to overtake. Right in front of Vegas and Dirksen, the one to conclude race number 2. As we can have a look at the final standings, Lorenzo, pretty straightforward race for him, having the lead from the start and keeping it till the end. Krug in second, Kazuki in third, SRB in fourth, 5 for Carlos, 6 for FIV Rock, 7 for Von Pigeon, 8 for Paul Nunez, 9 for Judy Fra, 10 for Pepino, 11 for the Guler, and 12 for Vegas, and then 13 for Dirksen. With now race number 3 starting. That's a 24 past.
Everybody's already in. If you want, the results are updated and we can go and look at them.
Let's have a look at the overall results. There we have them. Overall is still Carlos Parejo, but this time tied with Kazuki with 6 points. 9 points for third place, Krug. 10 points for fourth place, Rocco Guerra. The Guler in fifth with 13 points. A strong performance in the first race, a average performance in the second race. Lorenzo is the opposite of the Guler. Poor performance in the first race, strong performance in the second race with 14 points in 6. 15-point three-way tie between SRB, Pepino, and Julie Fra. The tiebreak will go in favor of SRB for a better performance in race number 2 at 4th, 5th for Pepino in race number 1, and then 6th for Julie Fra in race number 1 as well. 16-point for Von Pigeon in 10th, Nunez in 11th with 18 points, 21 points for Dirksen, and 24 points for Vegas in 13th with 1 minute to go for race number 3.
It's interesting to see already some mix up with the Guler and Lorenzo and SRB. Even Pepino go from a good performance to a bad one, and that one is something that show us how high is the level. Winning one, arriving 13th on the other is the sign that the fleet is really close and everything can happen.
Exactly, and with players performing really well in one race and very poorly in another race, it's going to allow for a lot of shifts to happen. Points are still very close. Obviously, it's just 2 races. There are still 4 more races to go to reach the top 6. Currently, there is a 8-point difference between 1st and 6th, and a 10-point difference between 6th and 13th.
And now with the 49er, we are using another different kind of boat. It's a boat that is always looking for more wind. So it has to be really, really important to go and put yourself in a patch of wind rather than find yourself in a no-wind zone, but with a good wind shift. So let's see what's going to happen now, because there is a massive left wind shift coming, probably arriving just at the start. So we will see something interesting, or a lot of boats starting from the committee boat, and then tack, or someone really, really crazy going to start on port on pin end and try to get the first position like that.
Yep, 30 seconds to go.
We need to remember also this boat is really, really wide. Oh, another right wing shift is coming. You definitely need to go on the right hand side.
Only the blue boat of Lorenzo, the closest one to the committee. starting line side.
A lot of penalty, a lot of... No, sorry. I thought it was a lot of penalties, but actually no penalty was given.
Kazuki does have a penalty right after the start, and we've seen all the boats close to the committee immediately tacking towards the right side of the course to catch that.
Look
that
at the
shift.
difference. Paul Nunez 9.2 knots, Lorenzo 11.5.
As Lorenzo tacks now to cross the fleet.
I believe he saw the massive left wind shift that is coming down. But at the moment there is already a left wind shift. It's kind of a higher risk, higher reward kind of decision for Lorenzo. While on the other side, Carlos Parejo and Paul Nunez are going to come back to close the lateral gap between them and Lorenzo.
I also see Ron Pigeon being even more on the left of the course, going for that ley line. I'll see if he tacks on the ley line of report.
Lorenzo tack, SRB tack, Carlos tack, Paul Nunez tack. Now the right wing shift is coming back, so Spanish.
Given by Pepino, looks like it.
Yeah.
Number 10, meaning that Gilipa was on port. Pepino was on starboard. Did not give way. Dirksen still getting some support from the Swedish community. In 11th, just above there, tacking now. It's going to cross paths with, was going to cross paths with Gilipa and Pepino, but they decided to tack as well in front over there. We still have Carlos and Nunez in 1 and 4 respectively. SRB in 2nd, Lorenzo crossing in 4th. Close call there between Lorenzo and Vegas.
You call it close call, I call heart attack. It was like a few millimeters between the boats. He take a really, really high risk, Lorenzo, in that situation, and
thankfully for him, it paid off. Carlos is gonna start the downwind in 1st, followed by Nunez, the 2 Spaniards leading the fleet. SRB in 3rd, Lorenzo in 4th, and the Guler in 5th. Pepino following the Guler in 6, 7, and 8 for Vegas and Krug. Then behind them is going to be the Frenchman Gilifra. Von Pigeon in 10, followed by Dirksen, FIV Rock, and Kazuki.
Kazuki not in a good moment at the moment. He's in last position. He's not even really close to Rock. He is kind of close, but he's not like super close going to attack. And the jabbing moment now will be super important. As you can see, Lorenzo did 17 knots, Parejo 16.5. So more pressure on the left hand side where Lorenzo is, even if he's covered by the Guler. And right now,
Carlos, Nunez, SRB. Carlos seems to be alone for now. Nunez and SRB are neck and neck. Lorenzo right behind them. The Guler was right behind Lorenzo and is now hopping down in the ranking in 11th.
Yeah, the choice of attacking Lorenzo was costly for Omer the Guler. And as you can see, they're all fighting for the same mark, but
a double jibe here, a penalty for Vegas, a penalty for Krug, a penalty for Dirksen as well.
Kazuki in this way caught up 3 position, maybe a 4th with the Guler now. And this race for Kazuki's perspective, it's something you need to forget. and get back and try to take the last point you can in this race, so you're not risking the qualification.
Having a look at the upcoming wind.
The upcoming wind is a right-wing shift with a strong puff. You can see Julie Fa already going at 11.5 knots on the right-hand side. Almost 12 knots now for Julie Fra. But for example, Lorenzo decided to capitalize over SRB. But there's definitely more wind on the right-hand side. But Lorenzo attacked early, so he can stay longer in the strong path. As you can see, Lorenzo is going now at 12 knots.
Yep, 12.1 for Julie Fra, close to the ley line. 12 for Lorenzo, further in the center. 12.1 now for Carlos.
Let's see if the wind is switching back to the left, or Lorenzo did just a bad tactical choice. Well, really well done to Julie Fra, that from he is tied up in 7th position at 15 points, so 1 point from the qualification slot, and really a nice comeback.
As we're going to see Carlos now approaching the mark, followed by Nunez in second. Julie Fra is going to attack now inside of the mark zone, takes third place in front of Lorenzo and SRB. Behind them followed FIV Rock, taking a penalty from Von Pigeon and Vegas. And he's going to be overtaken by the Guler and Krug as well. Pino might be able to overtake him as well. Watch out for any penalties, and I believe if Rock is actually going to be able to keep his 10th. We'll see how this plays out. FSC Kazuki and Pino almost clashing. I believe we're going to have a battle between Von Pigeon and Vegas, as well as the 3 boats in front of them. Lorenzo, Julie Fra, and SRB.
Yeah, that will be the epic one, because at the moment the wind is coming from behind. You can see the Guler going almost 2 knots faster than the boat ahead of him, and the jibing will be everything. Lorenzo need to be careful over SRB, because if you attack too early, you risk a useless fight for just one position. On the other hand, being only 5th is kind of risky. In the meantime, a greatest performance of the Spanish.
Yep, Carlos Nunez first and second. Julie Fra managed to take third, SRB in fourth, Lorenzo in fifth. Von Pigeon taking 6th in front of Vegas in 7th. Pino will take 8th. A penalty for Krug, and a lot of boats going to be approaching that mark. Over there, it's going to be FSC Kazuki taking the lead, but being overtaken by the Guler after trying to recovering from his penalty. FIV Rock also uses that penalty on FSC Kazuki to overtake. With Dirksen concluding race number 3. Carlos in first, Nunez in second, Julie Fra in third, SRB in fourth, Lorenzo in fifth, 6 for Von Pigeon, 7 for Vegas, 8 for Pino, the Guler in 9, FIV Rock 10, 11 for FSC Kazuki, 12 for Krug, and 13 for Dirksen.
I believe there will be a little bit of shaking, except Carlos, that he is on fire to victory, the 5th position. Nothing better you can do as a sailor in that situation. All the other, I believe, they're kind of close, and I believe, except like the last 2, like Vegas and Dirksen, that are not performing well tonight. But in the meantime, if you want to jump in to the results are just updated.
Let's have a look. After R3, our leader remains Carlos Parejo with 7 points, a 10-point lead on second place. Kazuki with 17 points. Third goes to GD Fra with 18 points, 19 points for Lorenzo in fourth, tied with SRB for fifth, 19 points each. Lorenzo will take the advantage with the first place in race number 2. 20 points tie between Nunez and Rocco Guerra for 6 and 7. Nunez will take the lead for his second position in race 3, 21 points for Krug, 22 points two-way tie between the Guler and Von Pigeon for 9 and 10, 23 points for Pepino, 31 points for Vegas, and 13 points for Dirksen.
Can I ask you when the next race will start?
At 37 and 48 seconds. With the Far East 28R.
Perfect. Far East 28, really a nice, well-designed boat. Similar maneuverability of the J70 in a much bigger boat. Polars look similar in the shape, and this one is a guarantee of success. The bigger boat help to have more contact, while the J70 is a little bit more exciting for the hit and miss because it's a really narrow, really short boat. This one is a little bit bulkier and more prone for penalties.
Yep. And well, race start procedure can be given, has been given. We'll switch to the water in a second. So we're starting to have a gap between first place and the rest, but we still have 3 races to go. It is still very close between second and basically up to 11th.
Yeah, only 6 points.
Yep.
That's insane.
And time to switch to the water for race number 4.
40 seconds to the start. Right wing shift that is coming down. Everybody wants to get the race committee.
We're going to be following not Carlos, but Nunez. Carlos having won already a race.
Yeah.
The start procedure.
Von Pigeon and Lorenzo trying a cross start in nearby the race committee.
Watch out not to jump the gun. Good start for Nunez, good start for FIV Rock. And Carlos. Lorenzo recovering from an 11.
Yeah, Von Pigeon left up strongly, penalizing the Italian sailor. And to defend himself also from Kazuki, there was a massive laugh up from everybody. And we have Lorenzo and the 2 Italians actually in a secondary position, with FIV Rock in 8th and Lorenzo in 11th. I think we should check what SRB is doing, because he's all the way to the right. There is a massive right wing shift coming. This one will be interesting to see.
He is going slightly faster than the ones on the left, but 0.2 knots. It's not going to make that much of a difference. And he is on starboard, so he will have right away if any boat does come close to him on port. But we have a close lineup over there on the center of the fleets. The Guler taking the penalty while he was trying to get away from there. They are staying in the stronger winds, 6.7 knots for Von Pigeon, 36 degrees. See the other boats starting to accelerate as well. Pepino, Carlos, Nunez wanted to tack, but Nunez is going to be forced to tack again onto starboard by FIV Rock. Carlos is going to continue on port, getting close to Dirksen. as the wind starts to disappear from this area of the course.
Interesting tactic from Lorenzo, go all the way up there with a left wind shift coming right down, but with a right wind shift closing up soon after. And really interesting choice. I can see SRB is close to the lead at the moment with Von Pigeon. It depends if the wind stay like this, because with a constant wind from the right, maybe he's in a good position. But if SRB is second or third and Lorenzo is 13, where the other 10 boats are going to be?
But it is going
There's
to be a good, yeah, Von Pigeon arriving first at the mark, followed by Kazuki, then SRB. FIV Rocks tries to sneak in, but it's going to take the penalty, and a lot of penalties behind Pepino, Julifra, Nunez. All recovering now from a penalty. FIV Rock drops down to 5th. We'll see how that plays with Vegas. Followed by Krug. And we see the splits. Von Pigeon going on the right, FSC Kazuki going on the left.
Interesting. Same speed though.
I believe Von Pigeon might be entering a stronger puff soon if he can catch it.
I don't think he can.
But I don't think he will catch it. He's staying at 15.5, 15.6 knots. So is SRB and Kazuki on this side of the course. In the middle is going to be Carlos, chased by FIV Rock. Behind them, Vegas, Krug, Julifra, the Guler in 13, Dirksen 10, Nunez in 8. Pepino now in 13, the Guler took 12.
Nice attack from Lorenzo over Dirksen. That is forcing also Paul Nunez and try to cross in front of Lorenzo is really packed between 5 players. That's not a good position to be in.
Yeah, they're gonna force the other players to try to go as wide as they can. Nunez decides to just take the penalty and get inside, and that's gonna allow the Guler to jump up 4 places.
And penalty for Lorenzo again.
And a penalty for Lorenzo as the wind now disappears for the upwind. Von Pigeon still in first. Kazuki
Huge and massive left wing shift.
Yeah.
So if you're covered right now, you cannot even tack because it's more costly to tack than actually going straight with being covered. Really difficult situation for the sailors that at the moment are stuck in this situation.
Looks like Lorenzo is struggling at the back of the fleet.
Yeah, it's trying to split from the Spanish and from the group of the Guler, Pepino, Paul Nunez, and Dirksen. And he took all the opportunity as to go a little bit back to the left and try to reach the mark on port. Interesting choice, to be honest. The problem is that if he's wrong, he's dead last. We need to remember that from the 2nd to the 6th, there are 3 points.
Yep.
And from the 6th to the 11 other 3 points. So this one is definitely going to rough up a lot of feathers this race, and we will need to wait for the offshore and the formula for understanding better what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's still 2 races after this race to be sailed. Reach that top 6, as Von Pigeon is going to keep his lead. To start the downwind, Kazuki still in second.
Close call between SRB and Carlos. And FIV Rock.
Yep. Then it's going to be with Vegas and Krug, followed by Judy
Finally,
Prop.
a good performance for Vegas, right?
Yep. Yeah, we'll have a look at the scoreboard as well, because we had a great performance by Von Pigeon for this race as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Kazuki was struggling in 1 or 2 of the races before that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Kazuki was second to last to the last race, but he was so far ahead before that was not even a problem. Oh, interesting puff here that is creating a little bit of mix.
We see Carlos and SRB close to each other. SRB is going to be slowed down by FIV Rock. Carlos on his port. Rock is going to be forcing SRB to jibe away, but takes the penalty. Thankfully for him, the boats behind were still quite far, so he might be able to keep his 5th position. As Von Pigeon crosses the finish line in 1st, Kazuki 2nd, Carlos in 3rd, SRB is going to take 4th, FIV Rock takes 5th. 6th for Vegas, 7th for Krug, 8th for Gidifra, and then we're having a battle behind between Pepino and I think that's Nunez, with Dirksen and Lorenzo, I believe, will keep his 13th position. Pretty straightforward race for Von Pigeon, taking the lead early on and keeping it throughout the race. Kazuki also keeping his 2nd place. Bit of a swap between Carlos and SRB on leg number 6 for 3rd and 4th, after we rocking 5th. With Vegas in 6, 7 for Krug throughout the race, 8 for Gidifra, 9 for the Guler, 10 for Pino, 11 for Dirksen, 12 for Nunez, and 13 for Lorenzo.
I believe the ranking here is the ranking that we will see when the results will be updated, because they were already so close before, and I believe we'll see a mirroring effect to the next one, to the overall ranking.
Yep, well, we can switch to the overall ranking.
Yep.
Have a look at the standings. Well done to the King Von Pigeons and Club BFC. 2 minutes to go for the next race, and Carlos is still our leader with 10 points, 19 points, so that's a 9-point lead. For Kazuki in 2nd, Von Pigeon tied with SRB for 3rd and 4th with 23 points, 25 points for Rocco Guerra. In 5th, Gidifra, 26 points. In 6th, Krug will take 7th position with 28 points, 31 points for the Guler in 8th. Lorenzo tied with Nunez at 32 points for 9 and 10, 33 points for Pepino and 11. 12th spot goes to Vegas, 37 points and 45 points for the Swedish Dirksen. Still quite close to scores, so we still have 2 races to go, so things can still change quite a lot.
Yeah. We needed to remark the impressive results of Carlo Parejo, 10 points in 4 races, 9 points advantage on the second one, 16 points on the qualification. So if he keep the same points distance, so if he arrive like 5th or 6th or 7th, he do not even have to participate to be qualified in the last race. So how good he's performing.
Yep, so far he's been dominating the fleet's worst performance being a fifth place, and then 2 first place, 1 third place, so almost every time on the podium. Still have 2 races to go. This is the before last race for the players to try to reach that top 6 and confirm their position in the top 6 again. It's going to be the top 6 only competing in race number 7, the medal series of the semifinal. With 20 seconds to go, we have a new winner to spectate. Von Pigeon will be our boat to watch during the starting procedure for race number 5 in the offshore racer. What can we say about that?
We have our Richard Cording, Von Pigeon, that he did an amazing performance in the last race. He was not performing really amazingly before 9, 7, and 6. But you just need to be in the top 6. You need to go to the final one, and then you're playing yourself everything in the last 2 races to take the spot for the grand final.
Yeah, we had a joining issue for one of the players, so we're giving an extra time for this. He's already in, but the message was sent. We're going to wait an extra 2 minutes.
Yep. Now we are swapping to the offshore boat. Offshore boat is one of the oldest boats. Have a really strong and installed bow spirit, so is giving you that couple of meters more that could be painful if you need to and this one is one of the difficult boat for the newcomers, because this one have a really old concept of defend yourself as much as you can. You need to find yourself in the best position, and not more of an attacking one, where we saw this kind of behavior in other boats or other situation.
Yep, 10 seconds to go before we can give the start procedure. Looking at the points, we have less than 10 points between 2nd and 7. And between 6 and 12, we also have less than 10 points. Oh, just 11 points.
Yeah. Between 7 and between 8 and 11, there is 1 point, 2 points for 4 players, and before that we have a 3 points difference between Krug and Negular, and then a 2 point difference between Krug and Julie Farah. Julie Farah, the last one, qualified, with Rocco Guerra with 25, Von Pigeon and SRB with 23.
Yep, starting procedure has been given, so we can switch to the water for race number 5 and look at that start in the offshore racer, more specifically, Judge Von Pigeon.
Yeah. Do you think we are going to jinx him if we follow Von Pigeon this time?
No, I hope not. He's been doing pretty good throughout the final, 3rd overall, and podium every race but one where he finished 11th.
I'm interested to ask the chat who do you think they're going to be the top 6? Because at the beginning, even now, after 4 races, it's still hard to say who they are, if they want to give a try.
Yeah, Von Pigeon, the red boat's in the middle of this pack near the committee. Watch out for the false starts. With the offshore racer, it can play this trick.
Katsuki in penalty start. Someone says Lorenzo in the lead with Vegas, but it's really difficult with Julie Fra in that position. That is, it depends how tough they want to play. The one on the right hand side, if they play really, really tough and attack under the ley line and try to laugh up after. They put themselves in a risky situation because if someone can tack underneath them, they force them to tack and they cannot do it anymore, and they start to a battle of tacking.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the other one, they're just going straight and getting over. Penalty for Dirksen. I have to say, problem for Kazuki for this second race. Julifra was avoided by Von Pigeon. As you can see, attack, like I said, and force Carlos for an early attack. That forced Lorenzo. Lorenzo is now forcing Carlos to tack again. That is tacking underneath.
Domino effects of the tack. So here, Lorenzo is just in front of Carlos, but Carlos is above the ley line and he's luffing up a bit to try to stay above that ley line and reach that mark in one go. And that might foil Julifra's plan, but Lorenzo, with the help of a shift, actually manages to stay above the ley line and might be able to reach that mark in a single tack. The Guler underneath that whole fleet is going to have to tack behind them, as a Dirksen also joins this pack.
I have to say this is a masterpiece from Lorenzo. He didn't start nearby the race committee. He tried a risky maneuver. He went all in and he performed really well. I have to say, Carlos Parejo in second. It's insane. This guy is doing
consistent tonight.
Yeah. And Julifra here in third can cement his qualification position.
For a little reminder of the overall standings, Julifra is in sixth, so him finishing third definitely puts him in a more comfortable spot to remain in the sixth. He obviously still has one race after this one. But looking at Krug, the Guler, Lorenzo, they're out of the top six currently. So our first place for Lorenzo definitely helps his case. The Guler unfortunately struggling at 9th position. And Krug is right next to the Guler.
It's really interesting because all the strong sailors are all in the front. So I know that someone is going to be down, to lose some points, but I still do not understand who is going to be.
As Lorenzo Carlos start their upwind, a penalty for the Guler just in front of the mark zone, and another penalty for FIV Rock as well. Lorenzo went straight for dark zone, going at 0.2 knots faster than Carlos.
And there is also a right wing shift coming after. Sorry.
Yep.
Kazuki is risking something with 9. Is going 28. Is not out, but is not really in anymore. The Guler was already out, but is putting himself in a dangerous situation. FIV Rock is in by a point, and probably will be.
The Guler and the Guler as well. Krug, Nunez.
I don't understand who is the player that is inside now and going to lose a lot of points, because I don't think there is.
Well, Kazuki second, currently 8. Von Pigeon third, currently 5th, is still decent. SRB 4th and 4th. FIV Rock 5th and 8th.
15 and 6 maybe also.
But we will see. Lorenzo rounding the mark. Followed by Carlos. Julie Fra is going to keep his third. Followed by SRB in fourth, Von Pigeon in fifth. Kazuki will take 6, and Nunez tried to sneak in but could not, will be penalized for that FIV rock in 7, Vegas in 8, or 9 if he can overtake Nunez, the Guler taking a penalty behind. With a penalty on Vegas as well, Pepino in 11th, Krug in 12, Dirksen in 13.
I believe we will see a battle between 7 players for 6th position after the finish of this race. Because the one that should be tried to force in, they're all outside. The only one that is out and is trying to sneak in is Lorenzo. And Kazuki and FIV Rock are the worst of the top 6 that are in 6th and 7th. So interesting.
I see a lot of support there. Go Julie Frost says Clem, come on. SRB says Deja. Vanede, Lorenzo, why are you typing when you should be sailing? Inconsistency.
Where is typing?
On the Twitch chat.
Okay.
With Curticus Maximus showing his support for Lorenzo, but Lorenzo is not going to accept his support. Harsh.
Yeah, really harsh.
Well, Lorenzo finishes this race in first, followed by Carlos Parejo, Julie Fra fighting with SRB for that third place, but should be able to keep third place in front of SRB in fourth. Von Pigeon in fifth. FSC Kazuki in sixth, and Nunez dropped down his kite and is in a penalty. He's going to lose a lot of places with that. Actually lost 1 place, so fine. Pepino, Vegas, all of this is going to come very close.
I believe Rocco will be FIV Rock is the one going out, and Lorenzo is going in. Top 6.
Lorenzo first, Carlos second, Judy Frost third, SRB fourth, Von Pigeon fifth, Kazuki sixth, 7 for FIV Rock, 8 for Paul Nunez, 9 for Pepino, 10 for the Guler, 11 for Vegas, 12 for Krug, and 13 for Dirksen. We're gonna start the last race, race number 6. In 3 minutes.
The results are updated.
Perfect. We're gonna switch straight to the results.
I have to say, insane Carlos is first, even if he's not racing.
After 6 races with just 13 players, Carlos at 12 points first. That is a 13-point lead on second place. So he could decide not to race that last race, and he would still be in. FSC Kazuki in second with 25 points, 27 points for SRB in third, 28 points for Von Pigeon in fourth, Julie Fly in fifth with 29 points, Rocco 32 points in sixth, then Lorenzo at 33 points in 7, Krug and Nunez tied at 40 points, the Guler in 10th with 41 points, 42 points for the Swiss Pepino Vegas in 12th with 48 points, and then 58 points for the Swedish Dirksen.
Mathematically in are everybody except the Vegas and Dirksen. Said that
mathematically not out.
mathematically, yeah. No, mathematically not in the top 6, or mathematically out, are Vegas and Dirksen.
Okay.
Because Rocco can do 45, but said that I don't believe anyone from 8th position will have a lot of chances to go in. It's really, really tough. 8-point difference between 6 and 8. They're really, really a lot. Maybe one can sneak in if all the stars are aligned. That means Rocco and Lorenzo finish last and second last, and Krug or Paul Nunez win or the Guler win the race. But except that, it's really difficult from 8 to 11 to go in. Let's see what's going to happen.
Difficult, but not impossible. So we'll see how this plays out. It is the last race, last chance for the players to reach and stay in the top 6. Everyone apart from Carlos is safe in the top 6.
Yeah.
Only Carlos is safe.
Yeah, only Carlos is safe. Julie Fra 3 points. Von Pigeon 4, SRB 5. So they needed to. Julie Fra is a little bit riskier, but the other one needed to really do something.
We're following Carlos actually, because I don't think we followed him in the first race because it was. Well, he won the first race. We actually didn't follow him.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for us, he's been winning so many races that we can spectate him for the start. 5 seconds to go. He's near the committee boats. And does a double tack for the start. Trying to decide.
And Julie Fra is starting out.
False start for Julie Fra. That's unfortunate. He needs to perform well in this race to avoid getting out of that top 6. FIV Rock was also at risk, so a first place for him is good. And I see in the chat Chico saying go Paparo, supporting Carlos. Multitasking Lorenzo replying to a fan while rounding the mark in first place, says Chris.
It's insane. SRB is risking, Julie Fra is risking.
I believe Lorenzo was right behind FIV Rock as well.
Yeah, FIV Rock is first at the moment, so maybe second, but Carlos is not leaving any point to anybody else.
No. But he needs to stay consistent because it's going to be shuffled when we enter the medal series. The advance in points, or the lead in points that he currently has, will not be as big for the next races.
Yeah.
But he needs to stay consistent, and he needs to stay warm and aware.
Yeah, he do not have to screw up the next one.
But Kazuki might take first here. FIV Rock is going to have to attack.
FIV Rock is also taking the third, I believe.
Von Pigeon in second, Nunez in third.
Yeah, sorry.
Fourth for FIV Rock, fifth for the Guler Krug in 6. Carlos now in 7, Julie Fra in 8, Lorenzo in 9, SRB in 10, Dirksen taking a penalty, Vegas in 12, and Pino in 13 as the fleet starts the first downwind. Looking at Nunez next to Von Pigeon, decides to leave Von Pigeon alone. Pigeon is going to jibe close to Kazuki, not putting him in the wind shadow again, but sees Nunez arriving on his starboard, is going to try to avoid that.
I have to say SRB is risking a lot.
SRB.
Yeah.
Yeah. SRB in 13, Lorenzo in 11, Julie Fra in 12. That's 2 in the top 6 at the bottom of the fleet.
Yeah.
I mean, good for us. That means more changes in the ranking, more things to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
What do you
also
think
skipped
about
over
the
three of
three
the.
sailors
Yeah.
all the way to the left?
They decided to stay away from the action and maybe hope for the players slowing each other down on the left side to use that to their advantage. Fortunately, it is still a 12th position for Pepino, 8 or 9 for Dirksen, and a 13 for Vegas. There was a risk to take, and it did not pay off as much as they would have liked. But it is Kazuki leading the fleets, followed by the bird.
So in this way, Kazuki, Von Pigeon are in. Paul Nunez maybe can do something. Rocco is in.
Watch out for the cross between Nunes and Von Pigeon as Von Pigeon avoids the 10. Drops down to 4th. Second and third for Nunes and FIV Rock, but that might change.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kazuki is clear ahead. Carlos dropped down to 8, so he is giving a chance to some of the players.
Yeah.
But behind SRB in 9, Julie Fraught in 8, Lorenzo in 10.
It depends now, because right now they have a right wing shift, but a massive left wing shift is coming. So I believe the ley line now is dropping. Is rising all the way to the right. As you can see, nobody can do the mark anymore.
And they're going to have to tack again, but won't matter too much for Kazuki. He has an 80-meter lead. He can afford to do a double tack if the rest of the fleet is also double tacking anyway. Nunes still in second. And that's Von Pigeon in third. The Guler trying to get in there as well. Passes behind FIV Rock. Von Pigeon being overtaken by FIV Rock.
Amazing maneuver from FIV Rock here.
And the chase is on. Carlos came up to 6, 7 for Krug, 8 for Julie Fraught, 9 for Lorenzo, close to SRB in 10. Erickson 11, Pepino in 12, and Vegas in 13. Also starting to get away from that train of boats. Just outside of any wind shadow. Julie Fraught trying to put some wind shadow on Krug, who jibes away and heads on to Carlos. In front, FIV Rock, Von Pigeon, and the Cooler in a dance.
For SRB, it's convenient that Lorenzo is here close to him. Ooh, penalty for SRB.
Penalty for SRB that cost him quite a bit, putting him now in 11th place, and in front Kazuki, without any other challengers, is going to cross the finish line in first, with Nunes right behind Von Pigeon, the Guler, and FIV Rock reaching that mark as well. Their positions are not going to change. It's going to be 3rd place for FIV Rock, a 4th place for Von Pigeon, a 5th for the Guler. Themselves being followed by Carlos with the white sails, Krug, and the blue sails, Julie Fraught. in the Spordo colored. So Lorenzo came in 9, followed by Dirksen in 10, then Pepino, then SRB, and then Vegas, concluding the race. But what a race that was from Kazuki. From start to finish, keeping that first place, Nunez in second, FIV Rock in third, Von Pigeon in fourth, Guler in 5, Carlos Parejo in 6, Krug in 7, 8 for Judy Fraud, 9 for Lorenzo Dirksen for 10, Pepino in 11, 12 for SRB, and 13 for Vegas. And I see a lot of support now. People wondering if Lorenzo is going to be in or out. Nunez might sneak in the top 6. Von Pigeon is fair play as ever. Kazuki from Swedish eSailing, Clem BFC supporting Pigeon as well. And let's have a look at the overall standings.
Yep.
Having a look at the overall standings. 18 points for Carlos Parejo, who has been on fire. 6th position was his worst performance of the night so far. 26 points for second place, Japanese FSC Kazuki. 32 points for Von Pigeon in third. Von Pigeon from Great Britain. Rocco Gara, 35 points, the Italian in 4th position. 5th position for the Frenchman, Julie Fra, 37 points, and then 39 points, SRB in 6th. From Serbia, these are our current top 6. No twice the same nationality, so it's going to be a very multinational medal series. Unfortunately, the night is going to end for the following 7 players. Lorenzo just shy 3 points behind SRB, tied with Nunez in 7th and 8th position with 42 points. 46 points for the Turkish sailor, the Guler. 10 points from Portugal is Krug, 47 points. In 11th position, Pepino from Switzerland, 53 points. Vegas in 12th with 61 points. And Dirksen concluding this ranking from Sweden at 13th with 68
If you want, I'm ready to, you can give all the notification and we can start the 3 minutes procedure if you want.
We're going to have to anyway to wait for the protest time limit.
Oh yeah, you're right, sorry.
So we will see you all in 3 minutes just for the protest time limit to expire, as given any of the roles and instructions to join for the next races. And we will explain how the rest of the night is going to happen, but we're going to concentrate on the top 6 only. Carlos, Kazuki, Von Pigeon, Rocco Guerra, Gilifra, and SRB will be our players reaching the medal series of the semi-final. See you in a bit. And we are back with the top 6 that you can see on your screen 12 seconds to go before the start procedure can start for the next race. How is this going to work? Where, as you can see, first place will start with 1 point, second place will start with 2 points, and the rest of the fleet will start with 3 points. The scoring system is a low point scoring system. So first place will get you 1 point, 2 place, 2 points, 3 points, 3 place, 3 points, fourth, 4 points, fifth, 5 points, and sixth, 6 points. Your position is the amount of points that you will get. Carlos starting with 1, Kazuki with 2, and Judy Fra, Rocco, SRB, Von Pigeon, the remaining 4 starting with 3 points each. In this first race of the medal series, the top 6, so these 6 players will participate, and the last race will only be the top 4. So they need to use this race to reach that top 4 position. And it's going to be raced in the star.
Yeah, interesting. We have an interesting boat here because we'll allow big fights during the downwind. So we saw before that everything can happen, and it's really interesting because the fight is up to the last second, and it will be really, really interesting. A small starting line for the guys today. And the 20 seconds, so they're going to is a small starting line because there's a massive left wing shift, so they do not have the same kind of space to occupy.
Just for your information to follow which boat is which, FIV Rock will have the light blue sails. Kazuki will have the dark black scales. If Carlos Parejo will be sailing in the gray sails, dark gray. SRB in white. It's actually not white, it's a very bright turquoise color.
Yeah.
And then Julie Fra and Von Pigeon both with the Bordeaux color. Julie Fra obviously with the French flag, and Von Pigeon with the Union Jack.
Bad start for the UK sailor and the Serbian. UK started out, the Serbian get a penalty start, second penalty. So we already have 4 sailors that are pretty going straight forward here. And it will be interesting when Julie Fry is going to tackle, because FIV Rock needs to pass behind, and he is quick enough to do that. It was a risky maneuver here for Julie Fra because he was getting the 15th, and the 15th is super painful. FIV Rock needs to stay super careful here. Julie Fra double tack. Carlos here, penalty, and Kazuki and FIV Rock are 1 and 2. Third position for Julie Fra. Let's see how many positions will Carlos lose.
He is now 4th, but he is on the same line as Von Pigeon and the Serbian. Manages to get the inside of the mark round, and Von Pigeon now in 6th.
Having Kazuki in the lead is a great news for Carlos, because in that way he can even arrive last and still qualify, but will be definitely harder to go in.
Well, you want to perform well in this race to give you an advantage in that last race. Yeah. Obviously, this race is going to be a low point scoring system, so your position is the amount of points that you get added to your total. Then the next race with the top 4, it's going to be 1 point for the first, 6 for the second, and 7 points for third and fourth.
So the last one will determine only the winner, but the podium is decided here.
Suzuki rounding the mark first, Julie Fra in second. SRB with a penalty. It's going to allow Von Pigeon to climb up to 5th.
Now Julie Fra is getting really close to F5 Rock, even actually overtake him, and actually Carlos is close to F5 Rock. So Rocco lost 2 positions because of Von Pigeon and SRB covering him. But still, at the moment, the top 4 qualified. The top 4 here are the qualified one. Carlos is the first one to attack. Let's see if F5 Rock can cross over, and yeah, he can, and attack over him. So is forcing him to go in a dirty win situation, but he doesn't have any issue with that. He is already qualified in this situation, and
F5 Rock is going to have to do a double tack. Being put under pressure by Julie Fra, ending up taking the penalty.
yeah.
Carlos might use that to get closer to F5 Rock. Don't know if he's going to be able to overtake. He might be able to because...
But he broke the overlap, and so he kept the 3rd position. Really well done by F5 Rock. This is a maneuver that
for Von Pigeon to try to earn some places.
The problem is SRB that is going down straight and fast, while the other 4 are fighting.
And Kazuki again with a almost 80-meter lead.
Yeah, Kazuki is going to win unless he disconnects or stuff.
Why did you say that?
Because we saw KGR before. And the SRB...
Well, see, the aim is to avoid any type of penalty, because if you take a penalty, you are going to be overtaken by the other boats.
Nice defense by F5 Rock, that is holding his 3rd position.
It's going to allow Julie Fra to take 2nd.
Doesn't matter, you need to be in the top 3 because Carlos is qualifying anyway.
And there we have it. Final ranking for this race: Kazuki in 1st, Julie Fra in 2nd, 3rd for F5 Rock, 4th for Von Pigeon, 5th for Carlos Parejo, and 6th for SRB. We will see how this affects the overall standings, and we will explain how all of this works.
Yeah, results updated.
And there we have it. So, FSC Kazuki arriving 1st is now 1st overall with 3 points. Von Pigeon is 2nd overall with 5 points. Then we have 6 points tied between Carlos Parejo and Rocco Guerra for 3rd and 4th. These will be our 4 players competing in the last race of this semifinal. Unfortunately for SRB and Julie Fra, this is the end of the semifinal for them.
Yep. We have a Japanese, an UK, Spanish, and an Italian, and 3 of them are going to the grand final.
I believe there's a slight error in the scoring.
What did they? Oh, sorry.
FSC Kazuki in 1st, Julie Fra was 2nd.
Yeah, my bad.
FIV Rock was third, Von Pigeon was fourth, Carlos was fifth, and SRB was sixth.
Let me check them again, please. Kazuki first, Julie Fra second, third was FIV Rock,
FIV Rock,
fourth was Von Pigeon.
Von Pigeon, Carlos in 5,
Yeah, apologies.
and 6 for SRB. Let me know so I can refresh on my side after that.
Yeah.
So give us a couple of seconds just for us to correct that, and we can give the actual names of the people going into that last race. Apologies.
There are Kazuki, Julie Fra, Carlos Parejo, and Rocco Guerra. And Von Pigeon and SRB are out from the race.
Okay, there we have it. Results updated. So 3 points for Kazuki. That doesn't change for him. He remains first. 5 points for Julie Fra in second position, arriving second in that race. And Carlos Parejo and Rocco Guerra tied at 6 points each for third and fourth place. Fifth place for Von Pigeon and SRB, sixth. 7 points for Von Pigeon, 9 for SRB. Unfortunately for them, it is them. We're going to end the semi-final now. And Kazuki, Julie Fra, Carlos, and Rocco are going to continue on to the last race to get 3 spots for the grand final in that last race. In the last race, first we'll get 1 point, second we'll get 6, and third and fourth will get 7 points each. Once again, we're going to ask you for a couple of minutes to give out the rules, the instructions, and wait for the hearing the protest time to expire. And we will then jump right back into it. Give it a second. And we are back for the last race in just 12 seconds, the starting procedure can be given. So what is happening in this last race? It's going to be the top four: Kazuki, Julifra, Carlos, and Rocco Guerra. All of these four players are going to race in this race, and the scoring will be slightly different. It's not going to be the low point scoring system. It's going to be 1 point for the first sailor to cross the finish line, 6 points for the second, 7 points for third and fourth added to their total score. And I'll let Alberto kind of explain the different maths behind all of this and the different outcomes.
The main outcome is Kazuki is the fourth Japanese that is going already to the final without racing the last race. He, in any case, will be in the podium. Then there is a battle between Carlos Parejo and Rocco Guerra that the first one is going to the grand final. The winner between those is going directly to the grand final. Only in the case that they're finishing first and second, they will both qualify for the semifinal. If not, if they do not, if they're not both first and second, Julifra will be the person that is going to the final. So we have the main battle will be between Carlos and FIV Rock. After that, they need just to, if they are both first and second, the only one who will be in trouble will be Julifra. At the moment, great start from Carlos
that's exactly
and
what's kind of happening there. Carlos in first, FIV Rock in third, not in second, and Julifra in fourth.
This is a problem for the French sailor because in this moment he is still in, because the qualified will be Carlos, Kazuki, and Julifra, because FIV Rock is third.
But if FIV Rock manages to overtake Kazuki, it can be a different story.
Exactly.
What is these lines from Top Mark you see on the stream? It's lines from Top Mark that you send us. Are we talking about the ley lines, like the dotted lines on the side? These are called the ley lines, and they're the most direct path to the mark, taking into consideration the win at the boat.
And at the moment, FIV Rock get in the lead. Second position for Kazuki, third for Carlos. So completely
complete switch between FIV Rock and Carlos. It's still safe-ish for Julifra, but he needs to make sure that he can maybe overtake one of them, just to be on the extra safe spots as the downwind starts. FIV Rock leading it. Kazuki in second decides to jibe away. Carlos in third.
Julifra needed to be a pain on Carlos or FIV Rock to keep his position, and is what he is doing, and he's doing it perfectly.
I also see a lot of jibes from FIV Rock and Kazuki, so that's slowing them down as well. And is maybe gonna compact the fleets a bit more. Almost a penalty there between the two sailors. Carlos Parejo defending his position, Julifra taking the penalty.
At the moment, penalty for Kazuki, and this is crazy.
This is bad for Julifra.
This is really bad for the French sailor.
Now FIV Rock and Carlos are both first and second.
Yeah. Still is a good choice for FIV Rock to push over Carlos to make sure that he, Kazuki is not coming back and Julifra is being covered. Because at the moment the fleet is really well and compact. In this moment, Rock is going for 2 less attacks against Carlos.
Carlos will be able to overtake Kazuki. Or keep his position in front of Kazuki.
The problem is not much Carlos, but Julifra.
Yep.
And if Kazuki is going in the middle of the fight. At the moment, FIV Rock hoists the kite, is flying away really fast. He jibe, and maybe he can keep himself in the path. He is going 1 knot faster than the Spanish. He is in the path. Carlos is not yet in. Still 1 knot faster. This is a really bad news for the Spanish sailor. For the French sailor, sorry.
French sailor, yeah. Who is staying on Carlos, who's going to do double jibes and all that. Kazuki starting to overtake. Kazuki taking the penalty.
And Carlos in second position. Let's see how he's running the mark. Oof.
FIV Rock crossed the finish line first.
Yep.
And Carlos will take second, Julifra will take third, Kazuki will take fourth.
What a tight race.
Yep.
What a tight race. Was really exciting, was really emotional. I was speechless for half of the race. FIV Rock did a couple of attacks just to cover Carlos Parejo. Carlos Parejo defended himself in a perfect way. A small penalty to Kazuki, and even if Julifra finished third, the top 3 are already in front of us.
Exactly. The final standings for this semi-final, Rocco Guerra, FSC Kazuki, and Carlos Parejo will be joining the others in the grand final. As a reminder, this afternoon we already had 3 of our semi-finalists qualifying in. It was Yuko. Help me out here.
No. You put yourself in the speaker. No, don't worry. It was Yuko, Maradoni, and Pepito.
There we go. Yuko, Donnie, Pepito were the 3 to join FC Rich and Kanako in the grand final. So now Rocco Guerra, Kazuki, Carlos Parejo are joining them as well. Big fights between Julifra and Carlos Parejo. Carlos manages to defend his position and qualify for that. It is a 12-point tie between Carlos and Julifra at the end, but with Carlos finishing in front of Carlos finishing in front of Julifra.
Yeah. In case of tie break after the last race, we counted the last race. So in the meanwhile, if the tie was during race 7, so the semi-final, the tie break was done from the overall ranking.
Here we have it. So, quick shout out as well to Von Pigeon and SRB making it in the top 6 for the medal series. Unfortunately, not making it in the last race. Also, quick mention to all the other 7 sailors racing in the qualifier series that did not make it in the medal series. Also, want to quickly shout out the protest committee working in the background. Thankfully for us, there were no protests during the semi-final, but they were still here in case they needed to come in, and that was Hardolo, Ilya Moria from the protest committee. Thank you as well, Alberto, for co-hosting this semi-final with me. That was Oscar, your host. Semi-final 2 is now over. Rocco, Kazuki, Carlos joining the grand final, and semi-final 3 will be happening in 24 hours. That is tomorrow, Monday, 20th of April at 20 UTC to witness the last 3 sailors to qualify for the grand final. I guess that's it for us. Thank you all for watching. This has been Oscar, your host with Alberto, and we'll see you all tomorrow for semifinal 3. Make sure you follow these channels. Good night.
Bye.